And I'm calling for the death penalty for drug dealers and human traffickers.
So that is Donald Trump in a speech, shots fired against Ron DeSantis, recent human trafficker. Donald Trump, who might be president in a few years, is saying that that should be a crime punishable by death. Of course, that's probably not the sort of human trafficking he was thinking of, although with how much they hate each other, maybe it was. But anyway, Ron DeSantis is facing increasing legal pressure and the possible threats of some sort of, charges because of what he's been engaged with. A state lawmaker in Massachusetts has now requested a federal human trafficking probe over what DeSantis has been doing. That, as of right now, would not result in capital punishment, but who knows? Stay tuned. Immigration lawyers say that they're going to be seeking an injunction in federal court to stop the flight of migrants to cities around the country, alleging that the Republican governor had violated due process and the civil rights of the migrants flown from Texas to Massachusetts. One of the lawyers working for Lawyers for Civil Rights Boston says they were told, speaking of the migrants, you have a hearing in San Antonio, but don't worry, we'll take you to Boston. He said dozens of the migrants had told his team they had only been informed midair that they were going to land in Martha's Vineyard rather than Boston. And the organization, the LCR, said that they're calling upon Rachel Rollins, U.S. Attorney, and the Attorney General of Massachusetts to formally open criminal investigations. So, look, we have more details on this and updates because they've continued doing this throughout the week. I mean, they got what they wanted, not, a better life situation for all of these actual humans that they're using as political pawns, not a solution to the problem or anything like that. But they did get some positive press on Tucker Carlson, and that, at the end of the day, is the only thing that all of this is for, Francesca. So I expect they're going to be ramping up the number of, internal deportations they're doing.
Right, which I love because just like everything that's been happening under the Trump administration, just with the MAGA right in general, the question on a lot of people's minds is like, can they do that? And I think it's amazing that we don't know in the year 2022 what we can and cannot do. Some would say that's a sign of a semi-weak democracy. I would say we're still figuring out the kinks. Maybe we don't have a lot of time left, but it is disquieting to be like, wait a minute, can they do that? And also, who was involved? Were there DHS officials falsifying records on behalf of these migrants? What the hell is actually going on? And it also points to the fact that, like, the Biden administration, the head of supposedly the DHS, right, Department of Homeland Security, doesn't know what's going on either. And the fact that they can do stunts like this or be roped into stunts like this, I'll say it again, I've said it a million times, immigration officials in this country are out of control. They've gone completely rogue. And then on the human trafficking thing, it's so juicy and perfect, right? Because I know we're going to talk about Matt Gaetz in a little bit. This is a guy who voted against a human trafficking bill. He was the only person, I think, in Congress to do that. The other thing that makes sure you're going to have a lot of human trafficking, draconian border policies. That will ensure that absolutely there will be more money to the coyotes. There's going to be more people found dead in the back of trucks. The more you clamp down on immigration, you're not stopping it. You're just ensuring people's death.
Exactly. Yeah. And look, none of that is news in general. Their terrible approach to the border and all that. But this specifically is somewhat new. It's certainly ramping up. I mean, literally thousands of people just being sent somewhere. I don't want these things. You have them. You just have them. And they'll say, well, why should only the southern states deal with immigration? First of all, that is an entirely false narrative. Many people, migrants from other countries, come in through international airports, which are largely not located in just the South. And also, different parts of the country face different challenges. That's how it works. And so the Northeast, the Northwest have to approach certain things, maybe infrastructure, maybe weather, maybe extreme weather, I don't know, in different ways than other parts. You do still have to take it seriously, though. You can't just say, well, we're alone on this, I guess, and so screw those things. We're going to take them and ship them to Boston. They remain people, okay? They just do. And so to have multiple governors, like, it would be awful if it was an actual honest attempt to fix the problem or whatever. But when it's so transparently partisan on top of it, even worse. And to effectively traffic these people. Now, some of them agreed to go on a plane, but there's multiple levels of deception there. First of all, you're literally lying about where they're going. Second of all, I mean, of course, you literally can't spend Florida state money to do that, to send people from Texas to there. But then also, like, take a look at this. A picture, maybe some of you have seen this going around. These fake brochures promising 8 months cash assistance, food, job training and placement, help with housing, and all that. So those are lies told to migrants to get them to go somewhere. When they show up, they're not at the place they were told they were going to go. They're literally just left to wander around and see what happens. And none of those resources are there. Like, how could this possibly stand up in court, Francesca? Like, this is so clear. I apologize, people. People are saying that my mic is loud. I honestly can't lower it anymore. I don't know what we're supposed to do. But anyway, Francesca,
you sound great.
Like, this can't stand.
No, yeah, and that's the thing, is like, I would like to see some swift action to prevent these kinds of things from happening. That is, I mean, and the sad reality to me is that the alternative that this country has, whether it's Democrats or Republicans, just want extra cruelty. They want extra death, like, on top. You know, it's like this, like, 7-layer dip of death, and they're like, we need an 8th. That's the difference. I do think Democrats lack a policy on immigration. They lack a vision, and they have tried to overturn things like Title 42. It got caught up in the courts, again, which has been preventing asylum seekers from being able to enter the country because of the pandemic. But it's been handout after handout after handout to the right on this issue in exchange for, please, can we at least, you know, get DACA, which, by the way, came out after tons of work from grassroots immigrant rights organizers. And even that is being threatened right as we speak. So it's like, I hate the stunt, and I want to know what you think, but I do think it's going to play well to a base that loves cruelty. To us, It seems unconscionable, but I think it will work for them. The real thing for me is, like, it's not a border crisis. It's a general lack of immigration reform. Like, overall, all states. So where is, like, the positive vision that is led if we actually are like, well, the Democrats are super humane. We believe in humanity. How dare you? This is inhuman. Well, so is private detention centers, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So is border militarization. So is a bunch of things. So what are we doing actually to, like, put our money where our mouth is on that?
Yeah, look, I definitely agree. And we're going to turn to some of the political stuff from this in just a sec. But I do agree that it's going to play well. I mean, it's,
yeah,
Taylor, like, literally, like, this, they could go so much further. Like, honestly, like, I'm watching, the most recent season of Handmaid's Tale, so we can get into that sort of stuff. But, like, they just want to see migrants being humiliated, harmed. They want to see them suffer. Like families in cages. Most rational people hated that, but lots of conservatives love seeing that, and they would love to see much more than that. And especially if they believe it's going to make libs look as racist as conservatives. That's one of the big goals of this. They thought that everyone in Martha's Vineyard would freak out and DC would freak out, and then everyone's equally racist. Now, the issue is that the fact that didn't happen doesn't really matter, because it's Fox News that gets to decide what the audience hears about it. So they will just say, yeah, no, everyone on Martha's Vineyard freaked out. Based on what? What's the difference? They're literally never going to. If Sean Hannity says that they freaked out, and the news says that they didn't, the right wing will literally never even see that news. And if they saw it, they wouldn't believe it. So what's the difference? You could do literally anything you want, because a media environment that has been entirely crafted from the very beginning to deliver for you and your side will just make up the facts to fit it. And so why wouldn't it work?